University Challenge. Asking the questions, more Roger.
Hello and welcome to University Challenge, where two more student teams are itching to get their fingers on our buzzers for the first time. A guaranteed place in round two is on offer for tonight's winners, but this round does have a repechage, meaning that the highest scoring losing teams may also still progress. The king who founded King's College, Cambridge, was Henry VI in 1441, who soon turned it into a de facto finishing school for the college he had recently established at Eton. Nowadays, King's has one of the highest state school intakes of any Cambridge college and something of a reputation for republicanism. Recent alumni include the novelist Salman Rushdie and Zadie Smith, the comedian David Baddiel and the composer Judith Weir. Tonight's team are playing on behalf of around 700 students and have an average age of just over 21. Let's meet them.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Zachariah. I'm from Surrey and I'm studying medicine.
Hi, I'm Alexander Ward. I'm from Kensington in West London and I'm studying engineering.
And their captain?
Hi, I'm Rex Phillips Dibb. I'm from Islington in North London and I'm studying Russian, Italian and Ukrainian.
Hello, I'm Christian Mulholland. I'm from Hertfordshire and I'm studying classics.
Usually known as UCL, University College London was founded in 1826 by a group of intellectuals influenced by the progressive ideas of Jeremy Bentham. In direct opposition to Oxford and Cambridge, it was the first English university to admit students with no regard to religion and, as part of the University of London, the first to award degrees to women. Today, it's the UK's second largest university in its own right, and alumni include the artist Paula Rego, the journalist Claire Hollingworth and the cricketer Ebony Rainford-Brent. Representing around 42,000 students and with an average age of 22, let's meet this year's team from UCL.
Hi, I'm James Hall. I'm from North Finchley in London and I'm studying law.
Hi, I'm Ali Azadust. I'm from Portugal and Azerbaijan and I'm studying for a Masters in Intellectual History.
And their captain?
Hi, I'm Tayana Saw. I'm from North London and I'm studying medicine.
Hi, I'm Jacob Finlay. I'm from Cranley in Surrey and I'm studying for a Masters in Public Administration.
Well, as you know, the rules are the same as ever. Starter questions are worth 10 points and must be answered individually and on the buzzer. A correct starter also earns your team a set of 3 bonus questions on which you can confer. Right then, fingers on buzzers. Here's your first starter for 10. What period of Japanese history was marked by a system known in English as alternate attendance, which aimed to strengthen central control by requiring feudal lords to spend lengthy periods in the capital away from their families? It was in force from 1635...
UCL is at dust.
Tokugawa.
It was the Tokugawa period, yes, correct. Your bonus questions then, UCL, are 3 questions on a 20th century poet and novelist. In 1963, which German Nobel laureate did US psychologist Timothy Leary describe as the poet of the interior journey? The author in question had died a year earlier at the age of 85.
Could be Hesse, but I don't know. There was a German. I think he did the odd poem, but there was a German poet that won around that time, but I can't remember his name. But I think Hesse is probably my best guess.
Okay. Hermann Hesse?
Correct.
Nice.
Next, what is the 4-word English title of Hesse's last novel, set in a fictional province of Central Europe called Castalia? Its central character earns the title Magister Ludi.
The glass bead game.
I'd go for it.
But it's not 4 words.
The glass bead game. Yeah, it's 4 words.
Game?
The glass bead game.
The glass bead game.
That definitely is 4 words, yeah.
Okay.
It is the glass bead game, correct. Which 1927 novel by Hesse inspired the name of the rock band that released the 1968 single Born to be Wild?
Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf, yeah.
Steppenwolf.
It is Steppenwolf. Let's have another starter question then. Which Hindu deity is depicted in a statue located at CERN in Switzerland and donated by the Indian government? The subject was chosen to draw a metaphor between the modern study of the cosmic dance of subatomic particles and the fierce, violent dance of creation and destruction.
Kings Mulholland.
Brahm.
No, I'm afraid you lose 5 points. Creation and destruction known as Tandava.
UCL Hall.
Vishnu.
No, it's Shiva, or Nataraja I'd have taken. Another starter question then. Founded by Victoria Barnsley in 1984 and acquired by HarperCollins in 2000, which imprint published Hilary Mantel's novels Wolf Hall, Bring Up the Bodies and The Mirror and the Light? It takes its 2-word name from a term attributed to Edmund Burke, who used it in 1787 to refer to the members of the Reporters' Gallery, and now it refers euphemistically to the press and news media.
UCL is at dust.
4th estate.
It is the 4th estate, quite right. Your bonuses, UCL, are on Faith Ringgold's French collection quilts, which depict the adventures of William Marie, a young African-American woman in 1920s France. In quilts 5 and 7, William Marie is shown modelling for two major artists. Name both. They are depicted alongside their respective works, Dance and Les Demoiselles d'Avignon.
Picasso and Matisse.
Yeah.
Matisse and Picasso.
That's correct. Second, quilt number 9 celebrates the birthday of which dancer and singer? Born in St. Louis in 1906, she moved to Paris in 1925 and became closely associated with the Folies Bergère.
Yep. Josephine Baker.
Correct. Quilt number 4 shows a group of notable black women collaborating on a quilt patterned with sunflowers. Which French city is the setting? The background references works by Van Gogh, who is also depicted alongside the women.
So Van Gogh was Arles?
Yeah,
So
that's what I
guess-
was thinking.
Yeah.
All.
Correct. Another starter question then. Referring to a philosophical and psychological concept, what precise word may follow storehouse in the Yogacara school of Buddhism, false in Marxist theory, and collective in the writings of...
UCL Hall.
Consciousness.
It is consciousness, correct. Your bonuses, UCL, are on meteorology. Notable for its description of the hydrologic or rainfall cycle, meteorology is a treatise by which Greek thinker born in 384 BC?
It was Ptolemy Greek. He did a lot of astrology, so he might have done
Who was the
meteorology.
one who came up with Fools, the geographer? Strabo?
Strabo. I don't know.
Yeah.
Try whatever you tell me. Strabo. Take straight.
I think
Okay, go straight with it.
Nominate Isidus.
Strabo.
No, it was Aristotle. Which former assistant to Galileo developed the first mercury barometer? He gives his name to a unit of pressure equivalent to 1 millimetre of mercury.
No, it's a... No. It's an Italian. No, we don't know.
Pressure.
Ampere, is that a
No,
pressure
it's
thing?
current.
Okay, just
Pascal.
No, it was Evangelista Torricelli. In 1844, the public initiation of what technology in the USA enabled the rapid exchange of weather data from widely spread weather stations, a major contribution to accurate forecasting?
Telegraph?
1944.
Yeah.
Wait, what was it?
1844.
Yeah, telephone or telegram? Telegram. Okay.
Yeah. Telegram.
No, I can't accept that. It's telegraph. Bad luck. Plenty of time, King. See if you can get going with this one. It's a picture starter. For your picture starter, you'll see a map with an island highlighted. For 10 points, please name this island.
Kings Mulholland.
Sumatra.
It is Sumatra. You're no longer below 0, which is a good place to be. Your picture starter was a map of Indonesia, which includes around 15,000 islands. Your picture bonuses are on islands of this archipelago. First, which island is this?
Bali.
That's Bali.
Yeah.
Bali.
That is Bali. Second, please name this island group.
I think the Moluccas.
Nominate Mulholland.
The Moluccas.
Yes, the Maluku. Finally, which island is this?
Sulawesi.
Sulawesi.
That is Sulawesi. Another starter question then. What city is this? Home to a university named after the literary figure Ivan Franko. It is located in the historical region of...
Kings Philip Stib.
Lviv.
It is Lviv. You had to get that one, didn't you? Your bonuses, Kings, are on operas set in India. Born in 1836, which French composer wrote the opera Lakmé? Set in British India, it's known for the Flower Duet and Bell Song.
What are you thinking? 1836 French.
So it could be
Bizet.
Bizet. Who else?
Bizet, Berlioz, potentially.
Does he do a lot of
I
operas?
don't know. Should we go with Bizet?
Yeah, why not?
Bizet.
No, it's Delibes. Leo Delibes. Born in Cheltenham in 1874, who in his Sanskrit period composed the opera Savitri, based on a story from the Mahabharata? It concerns a faithful wife saving her husband from Yama, the god of the dead.
So Cheltenham, I think Gustav Holst was born in Cheltenham.
Holst.
It was Gustav Holst. Which Indian sitarist wrote the opera Sukanya? This also draws from the Mahabharata and was completed after his death in 2012.
It's going to be Ravi Shankar, right?
I don't know.
Sure.
Ravi Shankar.
Had to be Ravi Shankar, didn't it? Another starter question then. I need a two-word answer here. At the 2022 Winter Olympics, Kamila Valieva became the 4th woman in Olympic history to land which figure skating move? Despite its name, it requires 3.5 rotations, with the extra half rotation meaning that the performer completes the manoeuvre on the opposite foot they used for takeoff.
UCL Finlay.
Triple axel?
It is the triple axel, yes. Your bonuses, UCL, are on pairs of people with surnames that are antonyms of one another. For example, the comedy duo Little and Large. Name the people from the descriptions with the surname plus given name or initials in each case. First, a British actress known for her roles in The Devil Wears Prada and A Quiet Place, and the protagonist of Thackeray's Vanity Fair.
So that's
Emily
George
Blunt.
Osborne.
So Sharp.
Oh, no, yeah, you're right. No, Granville Sharp.
Okay, Emily Blunt. That works.
Okay.
Yeah. So Emily Blunt was one, and the other one was.
Is it Grant?
I don't know.
No,
What's his first name?
try Granville Sharp. I think I'm wrong.
Nominate as it does.
Emily Blunt and Granville Sharp.
No, it's Emily Blunt and Becky Sharp.
Oh, right.
Second, a Canadian-American comedian and actor who appeared in Three Amigos alongside Steve Martin and Chevy Chase, and a Louisiana governor nicknamed the Kingfish, who was assassinated in 1935.
Huey Long. Yeah.
Martin Short and Huey Long.
Correct. And finally, the author of Stuart Little and Charlotte's Web, and the MP for Paisley in South Renfrewshire, elected in 2015, who is the baby of the house until 2019.
Yeah.
Maury Black is the MP.
Okay.
Nominate
Oh,
Hall.
I don't know the other one.
I know.
need
So
to.
you can
Nominate Finlay. Sorry.
E.B. White and Myrie Black.
Yeah, that's right, E.B. White and Harry Black. Now the starter question. Representing the distance at which the mean radius of the Earth's orbit subtends an angle of 1 second of arc, what unit of length equivalent to about 3.26 light years is commonly used to express...
King Zachariah.
Parsec.
It is parsec. 3 bonuses for you, Kings, on peninsulas. The southernmost point of the Australian mainland, Wilson's Promontory, is a 22-mile-long granite peninsula projecting into which strait?
The Bass Strait.
Nominate Mulholland.
The Bass Strait.
Correct. You're good on geography, aren't you? The Bering Strait separates the Chukchi Peninsula in Russia from which Alaskan peninsula, named after a US Secretary of State?
What's it called?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Secretary of State.
Sarah Palin, Secretary of State. What's the word?
You should go Monroe.
Sure.
Monroe.
It wasn't him or Sarah Palin. It was the Seward Peninsula after William H. Seward. What is the only US state to be split into 2 peninsulas? The division is created by the narrow Straits of Mackinac.
Oh, Michigan. Oh, yes.
Michigan.
Michigan is correct, yeah. Let's start the question then. The 2020 Golden Globe for Best Actor in a TV musical or comedy series was awarded to the writer and star of which TV comedy series? It concerns the life of a first-generation Muslim living in New Jersey and takes its one-word title from the name...
UCL Finlay.
Aziz Ansari.
No, and I'm afraid you lose 5 points. It's one-word title from the name of its protagonist.
Kings Mulholland.
Aziz.
Nice try, but no. It's Rami. Another starter question. I need the name of a city here. Located on a major river, which African capital gives its name to a school of modernist art that includes the artists Kamala Ishaq, Ibrahim El Salah...
Kings Philip Stibb.
Dakar.
No, I'm afraid you lose 5 points. Ibrahim El Salahi and Osman Wakiala, who sought to develop a new national...
UCL Hall.
Khartoum.
Khartoum is correct. Could have waited for the whole question, but then I guess one of your team might have buzzed in with the wrong answer. Your bonuses then, UCL, are on German cities that once had the status of free and imperial city of the Holy Roman Empire. Name the city described in each case. First, a city on the Rhine, close to Mannheim, and notable for its early Jewish community. It was the site of numerous imperial diets, including one of 1521, where Martin Luther appeared to defend his doctrines.
Worms.
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 Correct. Second, a city on the Danube, home to a notable cathedral and the birthplace of Albert Einstein. During the Reformation, it was particularly associated with a branch of Protestantism founded by Zwingli.
Is it Dresden or Leipzig? Or...
Maybe.
On the Danube.
Danube's east, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah, sounds
Danzig
like
was a free city.
Passauer, Magdeburg. No, but that's not German. So.
Well, fair enough.
I don't know,
Anyway,
guess.
fine, maybe.
Like Leipzig.
Dresden?
Yeah.
Einstein.
Yeah, that
Okay.
sounds fair.
Leipzig.
No, it's Ulm. A large city in the Ruhr area, northeast of Essen and Dusseldorf, it is the terminus of a major canal that links it to the River Ems and the North Sea.
Right, that could be
Dortmund,
Bremen.
Bochum.
Dortmund.
No, in the words like yes,
Yeah.
it could be Dortmund.
Or Bochum, maybe? Or...
I think Dortmund
seems
is
good.
Dortmund.
Dortmund is correct, yes. We're going to get the music round now, and for your music starter, you'll hear a piece of classical music. For 10 points, simply name the composer.
King Zachariah.
Mozart.
It is Mozart, yes, congratulations. Mozart composed his Divertimento in D around the time of his 16th birthday. Your Your bonuses are 3 more pieces by people who are active in composing from an early age, all during the 19th century. 5 points for each composer that you can identify. First, who composed this work at about the age of 7?
Chopin did quite a lot of stuff earlier.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like
Yeah, let's go with Chopin.
Chopin.
It was Chopin, yeah. I should really play that to my 7-year-old. This German composer, born in 1805.
Maybe Mendelssohn, but I don't know if he was early. If you've got any other ideas, so Mendelssohn is piano, so maybe it's let's go with Mendelssohn.
Mendelssohn.
Which one?
Felix.
Second one.
No, it was his sister Fanny Mendelssohn. Finally, this composer admitted to the Paris Conservatoire before his 10th birthday.
I think this is from an opera, and I think it might be Carmen, possibly, or it's the other one.
This isn't Constantine.
No, it's one of the operas. I think it's, but we've already had like Bizet, so who's another? Or maybe maybe it's Strauss. I don't know. Sorry.
Paris.
Paris. No, Strauss can summarize.
Come on.
Sorry.
Strauss.
You had it with Bizet. Bad luck. Another starter question then. Popularly used in East Asian cuisine and also in Hawaiian food. Star anise, cloves, cinnamon, Sichuan pepper and fennel seed.
UCL Finlay.
5 spice?
I'll accept that. It's Chinese 5 spice. Your bonus questions, UCL, are 3 questions on peculiarly named genes in the model organism Drosophila melanogaster, also known as the fruit fly. The Drosophila gene INDY, or INDY, encodes a protein in the mitochondria that, when deficient, results in an increase in fly lifespan. INDY stands for I'm Not Dead Yet, referencing a scene from which 1975 British comedy film?
70s.
Yeah, it sounds Monty Python.
Yeah, so which one's 75, Holy Grail? And
Holy Grail sounds more
Yeah, and I'm Not Dead
Monty
sounds...
Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Correct. A gene known as CG7895 encodes a transcription factor protein that, when absent, prevents the development of a heart in fruit fly embryos. It was subsequently named after which character from a film adaptation of 1939?
Is Gone with the Wind?
Wizard and the Oz.
Oh,
Wizard of
yeah.
Oz
Yeah.
makes sense,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
The Wizard of Oz.
Toto before?
The Wizard of Oz.
We want the character.
Cowardly Lion.
No, it was the Tin Man. Another gene encoding a transcription factor protein is one which, when mutated, can lead to fruit flies failing to develop external genitalia, after which popular pair of dolls is this gene named. I need 2 names.
Barbie and Ken. Barbie and Ken?
It is Barbie and Ken. Another starter question then. Also featuring on its national flag, the coat of arms of what European country features 5 blue escutcheons, each bearing 5 white discs? By some accounts, these represent the 5 kings defeated at the Battle of...
King's Philip Stibb.
Portugal.
It is Portugal, yes. Your bonus questions then are on linguistic prescription, kings. In 1713, Philip V founded the academy known by the letters RAE, that's Romeo, Alpha, Echo, to set standards for the purity and elegance of what language?
There was a second.
I think for Spanish, like Espanol.
Like some sort of regulation for
Yeah, I
all
think
Spanish.
sounds like it.
Spanish.
Correct. What country has an academy known as Crusca, meaning bran or chaff, that is, in the sense of impure language, to be separated from that which is desirable? It was founded in 1582.
It's going to be colonial, maybe.
I think so.
Maybe not.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Japan.
No, it's Italy. Japan. Founded in 1786, the National Academy of which country awards the Nobel Prize in Literature?
Sweden.
It is Sweden. Another starter question then. Now discredited, the evolutionary theory that characteristics acquired by an organism...
UCL Saw.
Lamarck.
It is Lamarck. Wow, that's impressive. Your bonus questions are on television prime ministers. Emma Thompson played the entrepreneur-turned-populist Prime Minister Viv Rook in which 2019 dystopian drama series written by Russell T Davies?
Years and Years, was it?
That was a thing. I think there's a thing called Years and Years.
Yeah, Years and Years is one.
Years and Years.
It was Years and Years. Who played Prime Minister Dawn Ellison in David Hare's 2020 4-part political thriller Roadkill? She also played Home Secretary Claire Dower in the James Bond film Skyfall.
Helen McCrory.
Yes.
Yes.
Helen McCrory.
It was the late Helen McCrory. Finally, in which series did Penelope Wilton play Harriet Jones, a backbench MP who becomes Prime Minister after helping to defeat a criminal
Doctor Who.
family? It was Doctor Who. For your picture starter, you'll see a painting. For 10 points, name the artist.
King Zachariah.
Renoir.
It is Renoir, yes. That was The Umbrellas by Renoir, and your bonuses are 3 more paintings featuring umbrellas. Name the artist in each case. First.
Is that Manet?
Manet.
No, that was Monet. Secondly.
Wait, let's discuss it. Okay, this is Japanese. I don't
Hokusai?
No, yeah, it's the Southern Shower of Hokusai. It's Hosuko or something.
Hosuko.
No, it's Hiroshige Utagawa. And finally.
Dali.
That's Dali's The Enigma of Hitler 1939. Another starter question then. I need a 4-word phrase here. What is the title of the first full-length critical work by bell hooks, subtitled Black Women and Feminism? It is taken from a speech made by Sojourner Truth in 1851.
UCL, is it dust?
Ain't I a woman?
Correct. Your 3 bonuses, UCL, are on literary criticism. Which US critic wrote the 1964 essay Against Interpretation, in which she argues that criticism has become too focused on excavating true or hidden meanings in works of art, when it should be revelling in their sensuous surface?
I thought it said he.
Oh, was it Berger? Was Berger against interpretation?
Could be Harold Bloom.
Harold Bloom, do you think?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Harold Bloom?
No, Susan Sontag. What word precedes fallacy in the title of the 1946 essay by William Winsat and Monroe Beardsley? It argues that the idea of what the author meant is not a desirable or useful structuring principle for literary criticism.
Like intentional...
Intentional fallacy. Something could be intentional fallacy. That makes sense.
Yeah. Intentional fallacy?
It is the intentional fallacy. In the 1956 lecture, The Frontiers of Criticism, which poet argues that listing a work's references and possible sources is not in and of itself literary criticism, though he admits that his own work may seem to encourage this approach?
66.
Larkin.
Terry Eagleton.
I'm just thinking
Hughes sounds like a good show.
Yeah, J. Hughes.
Hughes, what
Ted
Hughes?
Hughes.
Ted Hughes.
Ted Hughes?
No, that was Eliot, T.S. Eliot. 5 minutes to go, Kings. Plenty of time for you. Another starter question. A little lower than Dunkery Beacon, the county top of Somerset, Cerro Catedral, or Cathedral Hill, in the Maldonado department, is the highest point of which South American...
King Zachariah.
Exmoor?
No, I'm afraid you lose 5 points. Of which South American country?
UCL saw.
Chile?
No, it's Uruguay. Another starter question. What innovative band is the subject of John Savage's 2020 oral history, This Searing Light, The Sun and Everything Else? The band released 2 studio albums, 1980's Closer and their 1979 debut...
King Zachariah.
Genesis?
No, I'm afraid you lose 5 points. Their 1979 debut, Unknown Pleasures.
UCL Finlay.
Rush?
No, it's Joy Division. Another starter question. Pig Heart Boy, concerning a fictional animal to human heart transplant.
UCL saw.
Mallory Blackman?
It is Mallory Blackman. Your bonuses, UCL, are on words that begin with the same 4 letters. Of uncertain origin, what name was probably first applied to the cemetery under the Basilica of San Sebastiano in Rome? It denotes a subterranean cemetery composed of galleries or passages with side recesses for tombs.
Catacomb?
Correct. Of Italian origin, what word denotes a decorated platform supporting a coffin, often that of a prominent person during a funeral or while lying in state?
Cat or something?
Oh, it was... Oh, I can't remember. No,
Catafalque? I think
Yes,
catafalque.
I think it's that.
Catafalque?
Catafalque, yes, exactly. Propounded by early geologists such as Sedgwick, what theory relates geologic change to sudden and violent upheavals in the Earth's surface? It's often contrasted with uniformitarianism.
Catastrophism.
Catastrophism?
Correct. Another starter question. In chemistry, what name is given to a solution to which a strong acid or base can be added without causing a significant...
King's Ward.
Buffer.
Correct. Your bonus questions, Kings, are 3 questions on journals published by the Royal Society of Chemistry. An RSC journal in inorganic chemistry is named for which chemist who developed modern atomic theory, making the first measurement of relative atomic mass? He gives his name to a law of partial pressures.
It's Boyle?
Boyle, yeah, Boyle's law sounds about right.
Yeah.
Is that
Yes.
Boyle.
No, it's John Dalton. Until 2002, the RSC published a journal in organic chemistry named for which chemist who made a serendipitous discovery of the first artificial dye while attempting to synthesise quinine?
Quinine.
So this is the guy who discovered indigo.
Yeah.
Accidentally, I can't remember his name.
There's this guy who worked with like dyes and chemotherapy, Ehrlich, but I'm not sure.
I guess we'll go with that. Ehrlich.
No, it's Perkin. Publishing papers presented at a set of eponymous physical chemistry conferences. Another RSC journal is named after which pioneer of electrochemistry and electromagnetism?
I don't pass. Unless you...
Pass.
It's Faraday. Another starter question. In a German language expression, the letters USW carry the same meaning as what expression?
Kingswood.
And so on.
Yes, correct. Bonus questions for you then are on an artist. This is a quote. Almost without exception, blue refers to the domain of abstraction and immateriality. These are the words of which artist born in Moscow in 1866?
It's Kandinsky.
Kandinsky.
It is Kandinsky. Kandinsky was a co-founder of which influential organisation of Munich-based artists who held their first exhibition in 1911? The group took their name from that of a 1903 painting by Kandinsky.
Nominate Zachariah.
De Blaureiter.
Correct. Kandinsky's paintings featured prominently in which exhibition staged by the Nazis in 1937? The show featured over 650 works condemned by the regime.
Nominate Ward.
Degenerate art.
Correct. Another starter question. In which modern-day country are the locations of the ancient cities of Patara and Xanthos? They were...
King Small Holland.
Turkey.
Correct, it is Turkey. Your bonus question, Kings, are on the composer Henry Purcell. A restoration spectacular, The Fairy Queen, is a 1692 triumphant semi-opera by Henry Purcell that uses a libretto adapted from which Shakespeare play?
Henry V.
A Midsummer Night's Dream. Wendy Carlos reworked Henry Purcell's music for the funeral of Queen Mary as the title music of which 1971 film by Stanley Kubrick?
A Clockwork Orange.
Correct. Finally, his only true opera, which 1689 work by Purcell, is based on the fourth book of Virgil's Aeneid, with a libretto by Nahum Tate.
Something like Dido and the News that happens in book 4.
Nominate Mulholland.
Dido.
No, I can't accept that, I'm afraid. The title is Dido and Aeneas. Another starter question. Meaning woodland clearing or meadow, what short-place name element follows bent, burn, bing, bat and heading in the names of settlements in northern England?
UCL Hall.
Lee.
It is Lee, L-E-Y, correct. Your bonus questions then, UCL, concern women depicted on the 25-cent coins. And at the goal, King's College, Cambridge have 145 and UCL have 190. Kings, you really got going, but just too late. Oh, it's like you needed another warm-up in advance to get your eyes and ears in. Did you have a good time?
Of course.
Yeah, I've got no idea if 145 will be enough to come back. We've really enjoyed having you, so thank you so much for coming and playing so well. UCL, how'd you feel?
Good. Yeah.
Relieved? Excited? It was terrific. Who's your mascot, by the way?
Jeremy Bentham.
Of course that's Jeremy Bentham. How did I not know? Thank you very much indeed. I hope you can join us next time for another first-round match, but until then, it's goodbye from King's College, Cambridge.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.
It's goodbye from UCL.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.